Почитувани, ве молиме за
Dear attendees, please take your seats. Thank you very much.
Почитувани, ве за
Dear attendees, please take your positions. Thank you. Dear Prime Minister of the Republic of North Macedonia, Mr. Kovachevski, dear Deputy Prime Ministers and Ministers at the Government of the Republic of North Macedonia, dear Deputy Ministers, representatives of civil society and government sector, dear business people, esteemed university professors, dear excellencies, dear guests, welcome to the annual conference, a year of European opportunities organized by the government of the Republic of North Macedonia. In the coming 2 days, through a number of panel discussions, we'll have the opportunity to discuss and have a breakdown of everything that has been happening in the past 2023, but even more so to provide guidelines and a vision for 2024, which is the year of European opportunities. And it is precisely the European opportunities that bring about perspective for everybody, for the young people, for farmers, for business people, for the economy, education, culture, and the country as a whole. And therefore, the goal of the government policies is to bring about European standards and values at home and enable the citizens a livelihood following the European standards. 2023 was the year where North Macedonia successfully went down the European path, a year where we encountered a number of state, economic and political challenges, but also the year where the crisis was transformed into an opportunity. A year dedicated to the development of the economy, increase of salaries and pensions, support for companies, energy development, and enhancement of employment. A year where, through the anti-crisis measures, directly the most vulnerable groups were supported and the standards of citizens and liquidity of companies were fully protected. The past year was a year of serious geopolitical and economic challenges for the European continent, and therefore it is extremely important that at a key point of time, North Macedonia showed that it has firm pro-European orientation, but also a responsible approach and contribution to both the regional and European stability and security. In this 2024, it is key precisely to continue down the road to the EU, the road that will make sure we have a top-notch democracy, social justice, and functional rule of law, enhanced livelihood standards, better paid workplaces, economic development that will shape the future of North Macedonia. Dear attendees, I am honored and pleased to invite for an official opening of the conference, the European Opportunities, the Prime Minister of the Republic of North Macedonia, Mr. Kovachevski, to address the audience. You may take the floor. Dear government members, dear MPs, dear institutions, representatives, dear representatives of the business community, civil society, dear professors, dear members of the Macedonian Academy of Science and Arts, dear excellencies and representatives of international community, dear media representatives, dear citizens, I wish you a warm welcome to the 2-day annual conference, a year of European opportunities. Today I have a personal, but I believe a shared excitement, responsibility and obligation to give a brief overview of where we were recently, and most of all to discuss, debate and agree on how far we'll be going, where for our citizens wish to go, where it's best for the citizens of the country, where the family of modern and sustainable countries is. Since if we look back in the past almost 3 years, but even before that, I'm sure that even the greatest pessimists could not imagine what kind of challenges the North Macedonia would face, including our citizens, imposed by the global health, security and economic developments. Those were difficult periods even for the most developed countries. Those were very difficult periods for even greater, stronger, and richer than us. But we knew that before that, back then and now, the strength of a country and citizens lies in their conviction, in their faith, in their togetherness, solidarity, and the idea to be part of the whole and part of the progress and states based on values and principles. Even in such difficult times, we didn't stray away from the implementation of our policies based on the EU principles and values, and we didn't give up the fulfillment of our strategic goals. With a firm conviction, daily work and dedication to values and policies, we strengthened and ensured the European perspective of North Macedonia, setting in the best possible way the unity of all most important aspects of a state and citizens. Respect for the past, better, present, and prosperous and certain future. I deem that this is the best way to ensure security for young people and all citizens in our country. In the past year, as in the previous 6 months, everybody recognized the policies of collaboration, partnerships, and desires to find solutions in the policies of the government of the Republic of North Macedonia. They recognized stability, trust, credibility, honesty, and commitment. North Macedonia was internationally positioned and enabled to be respected and more influential than ever in its independence history. The country was brought back to the doors of the EU. We started the negotiations and successfully completed the screening, because there is no other alternative. Only in this way North Macedonia can be internationally stronger and raise the quality of livelihood for the citizens. Only as a EU member state we will have a more competitive, innovative, and open economy, an economy of human capital, economy of possibilities, and an economy of growth and development. Therefore, I reiterate this, since I honestly believe that Macedonian citizens are in favor of the EU, and in these years we showed and proved that we acted and respected on the will of our citizens. Citizens know that by the EU membership we will enter the European family, and specifically the European mechanism that will never allow us to go through any financial or economic crisis on our own. For our citizens, life in the EU does not mean a one-way ticket. It does not mean an emigration visa, but it's a guarantee for a better standard, higher paid work jobs, European, modern, and contemporary Western values, but here at home in North Macedonia. Therefore, the government I'm leading in the past years has secured political stability, preserved the social cohesion, and ensured economic stability and growth in times of greatest crisis. For me, it's most important that the government showed resilience to all crises. It showed knowledge, energy, capacity, and results. In spite of all the challenges, we persevered for our promises and implementation of our policies for a better livelihood of citizens and growth and development of companies. We fulfilled the promise of increasing the salaries. We promised €500 an average salary, and even more increased this salary, which is more than €630, which is an increase by almost €300 compared to 2016. And salaries will be growing because we resolve this issue systemically. We doubled the minimum wages, which in 2022 was $18,000, and by the next harmonization is going to be $22,500. And we remember in 2016 it was only $8,000. We stood by the workers and systemically resolved this problem once and for all. We worked on systemic solutions to ensure dignified livelihood for pensioners as well. The average pension today is $20,100, which is by $6,400 more compared to 2016. The minimum pension today is $13,150, which is by 50% higher than 2016. Pensioners nowadays receive 6,000 dinars more on average. Last 2023 was a year of record payment for financial support to companies. Up to 40 million euros was paid to 530 companies that back in 2022 implemented total investments of more than 150 million euro. Within these 6 years, the government, by 100 million euros, supported 990 domestic companies for their investment cycles by implementing 500 million euro investments. By 2017, the support by the state to domestic companies amounted to 0 dinars. All of this resulted in the reduction of unemployment, and today we have an unemployment below 13%, and next year we are going to have unemployment that is going to be a one-digit unemployment, and we remember that in 2016 it amounted to 25%. The NATO membership and initiation of negotiations and our European policies were the guarantee to make sure we have foreign direct investment, the biggest ever in the country. If back in 2016 foreign direct investments amounted to 338 million euro, now they are doubled, 754 million euro. All investors in North Macedonia recognize that this is a good place for investment, that there are diligent, loyal and hardworking workers here. The new concept of the technological zones provided great results. The number there amounted to reached actually 18,000 workers, which is double the 2016. In addition, the unemployment rate, as I said, was lower, and it was halved compared to 2016. We are on the brink of securing a one-digit unemployment rate that was unimaginable a few years ago. On the other hand, within 1 year only, we have an increased employment of 10,000 new workers. Through the anti-crisis measures, we managed to protect citizen standards and liquidity of companies, thus providing jobs, the work positions. First with 760 million euro, and the latest by 662 million euros, we helped the students, young people, pensioners, vulnerable groups, single parents, households with low incomes, farmers, companies. More than 2 billion euros only in the past 3 years were directed towards citizens and companies, which has never been the case in the country, for so much money to go back to the citizens and the economy. In 2023, we ensured the historically greatest budget for farmers. The new IPAR 3 program was increased by 62%. Now in IPAR 3 we have a program that we were first to initiate from all countries using the IPAR. We have 97 million euro returnable European funds aimed at modernization and development of Macedonian agriculture. All of this proves that whenever you make the right decisions, it will bring about benefits for all the citizens. We handled successfully the energy crisis and transformed it into an opportunity. First, by putting into operation all energy facilities that we have available in the country, and increased 100% electricity for households and small consumers. Vital activities in the country were secured. And we increased the total electricity production by 45%. Nobody believed that. Skeptics were saying that we would remain without electricity, but we proved that we could do that. We activated all energy facilities. We activated facilities that were not used for 15 years. We activated the hydro potential. We facilitated the procedures for settling up renewable energy sources for something that required 6 months to take out the permit. Now takes place only within 1 day of notification. This energy transformation started during my term of office, and I'm extremely satisfied of how it's developing and how it's going to develop. By 2016 in our country, throughout the entire office of the previous government, 16 megawatts of renewable energy sources were installed, from solar plants and gas plants. From January 2022 up until now, we have issued more than 600 licenses for renewable energy sources, by which we've installed the capacity of 600 megawatts of renewable sources of energy, which is more than the entire capacity of the entire Reg Bitola producing the electricity. By these 600 megawatts of renewable energy forces, we have 166,000 households provided with pure energy. Thus, we brought back the cheap tariff for electricity from 13 to 1,500 hours, thus providing the households to save $1,000 on a monthly basis. We continued with the measures for subsidizing the electricity price for more than 600,000 households and for more than 70,000 small and medium-sized enterprises that hire the most population in the country. Citizens can see that they have a record ever subsidies up to 90% in the country. As a government, we made a strategic step forward in terms of the capital investment of road infrastructure. Corridors 8 and 10D are convincingly the greatest capital investment in the history of our country. They will contribute to the faster development of economy, modernization of road infrastructure, and better connection with our neighbors. In the past 5 years, we invested more than €1 billion for the construction and rehabilitation of roads. North Macedonia is, instead of becoming a ring road, is becoming a real crossroads in the Balkans. Since the independence up until now, the EU support has been assessed at more than €3.3 billion. During crisis, our partners were here with us to mitigate the consequences of COVID pandemic. North Macedonia received €160 million from the EU. We received a grant of €80 million to handle the energy crisis. On top of that, the European Commission proposed and approved €100 million macrofinancial assistance for North Macedonia. Then we have the investment fund for the Western Balkan available, where €9 billion of investment are projected by 2027 that should draw additional €20 billion for favorable loans from international financial institutions. The growth plan, on which we had a leadership meeting at a high level in the presence of high representatives of the EU and the United States and international financial institutions, is the greatest confirmation from the EU that they have a specific plan for the efficient European integration of the Western Balkans. Through its implementation that depends on both the EU and primarily on us, the Western Balkan countries, the GDP per capita should be double. That is to say, from the average €6,000 per capita in the region to an average of €12,000 per capita in the coming 10 years. The plan opens up the doors to local businesses and workers to the region and Europe, thus making the region more attractive for both European and global investors. The joint regional market, that is one of the pillars of the growth plan, will be a springboard to the European single market. Here we are talking about the regional economy with slightly above €100 billion GDP and 70 million inhabitants that pretends to join the market of 500 million citizens with a GDP of more than 15 trillion euros. As a government, we made major strategic steps for the Republic of North Macedonia through a lot of hard work, dedication and commitment. Our country will continue through a sustainable development and become a more successful and safer EU member state. The EU membership is not and cannot be a pre-election promise that can never be implemented. We have set a goal to us to implement this by 2030. By the EU integration, salaries and pensions will go up between 70 and 90%, and at the same time, our foreign partners and investors will have an additional trust that will be reflected in a drastic higher number of investments in the country. If the EU has a share of 65% of the total number of foreign direct investment, we can guess how much this support will be bigger once we become an EU member state. This year started that has started is a year of decisions, a decision for an European progress or isolation. There is no third option. We have already made huge investments in the future of our country, and we do not need any party or political divide, outsmarting and false promises. For our country, it is very important that thanks to the right and committed policies, we brought back democracy, dialogue and debate. In the country for a longer period of time, people are not whispering but speaking aloud. In the country, there are no untouchables as in the past, but everybody is put to the judgment of the general public and citizens. The country debates about everything. There are no prohibited topics or shows or consequences for different opinions. The captured state belongs to the past because citizens and we as their representatives freed it up, and within a short period of time we managed to make up the time of lost opportunities and bring about a year of European opportunities. Now we are ahead of a decision again, more precisely by decisions necessary, true ones. For some they are easy, for some they're more difficult, but for us they bring about responsibility because this is a year of very important internal domestic decisions. Whether, with whom and in what way, how fast and at what quality will go down the road of progress of which I was speaking just now. Precisely this 2024 is key to speed up the reforms and accelerated integration in the joint European market prior to the full-fledged membership in the EU. We do not have the right to stand still, even less so to go back. We don't have the right to allow the inhibitors to be louder than the progressive ones. We have no right to allow for the personal to be above the state interest. We have no right to repeat the mistakes of our predecessors. We have a lot of right. We have the greatest obligation to be optimistic, to have and show faith, to have and show internal confidence, to have and show capacity, knowledge, work, focus, energy, to have and to show a state, because we have all of this and we should finally fight for our joint and shared values, the most important, the citizens, the country, for European Macedonia, for a country that everybody loves and where everybody wants to live. Therefore, this is going to be a good year, it's going to be a successful year, it's going to be a year of European Macedonia. Thank you all.
Thank you, Prime Minister. I would now like to invite the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Political System and Ethnic Relations, Mr. Artan Grubi, to take the floor and introduce us into the conference.